What's up, dudes? It's Nacho Trainer here with another great video to help you be a step ahead of the competition with great tips and tricks from a 2K League player. We have talked in the past about general concepts to get yourself combine ready. Now, we will begin the series breaking down each position and archetype. This will be an opinion piece of what I believe will be the best builds, so take what I say with a grain of salt. This isn't a definitive guide. I rank some builds higher or lower based on my previous experience, but that doesn't mean you can't use the builds I deemed worse and make the league. If you can ball, that is all that matters. The ranking system is quite simple, but I will break it down so as to not cause confusion. Red means the build has next to no redeemable qualities. There are things they are obviously good at, but there are builds that get close to it but do things better in other areas. They might be good builds for the 2K League or in Pro-Am, but the Combine is a different game mode and a different monster. You are in alone with random players, and you will have next to no coordination or chemistry, and these builds suffer in that environment. You have been warned. Yellow is where things get interesting. These builds are good, but are usually just outclassed by other ones available. They might struggle in a major category that you will need to make the pool. I would only recommend a yellow build if you feel you are elite at the archetype and have a lot of experience on it. Green is exactly how it sounds. In the Combine environment, they are some of the best builds at their position. They are usually great stat sheet stuffers and can do multiple things at a high level that scouts and managers look for. They are builds that you can comfortably take over with even if your team is lackluster. They require the least team setup and coordination and just set you up for the most success. These are the builds I would highly recommend for every player to use for the Combine. Now that we have explained the rating system, let's jump right in. The power forward position is going to be quite interesting in the Combine this year. The mashing you could do won't be there this time around in this 2K, unless something really unexpected happens with this Combine. You need to score like a small forward but rebound like a center. This position has some great builds in my eyes, and I can't wait to talk about them. So without further ado, let's begin. This first build, a lot of people will probably consider it the worst build at power forward, but I think it is the opposite, and I'm talking about the sharpshooting post scorer. Post scoring is kind of useless in the Combine, but the badges and stats you get from this combo is ridiculous. You get silver slashing badges and bronze shooting badges, and you can shoot from everywhere on the court. This build is sneaky good and will be quite athletic. The big problem is it will have easily the worst defensive trouble and assignments of dealing with the other builds of power forward. If you are a naturally good defender and want an overall great build for this position, I would highly suggest this one. The next build is the best slasher in the league for any position and any archetype, the sharpshooting athletic power forward. This build is at its best when you're out on the perimeter and decide to attack off the catch or pull that three. Quick decisions is the name of the game with this build. It is an offensive machine and has the best output of raw offensive stats at this position. A big negative is the lack of rebounding and defense though. Don't get me wrong, the build is extremely athletic, but it won't be able to out-rebound centers or the sharp rebounder at the 4, which will most likely be the most popular build and the one you'll run into the most. If you really are great at attacking the rim, use this build. If you're trying to be a team player, I would suggest a different build. The rebounding stretch is the best overall stat sheet stuffer at this position, and it's not even close. We all know glass cleaners are extremely good on this 2K, and this build can stretch the floor and go down there and clean glass when need to and throw outlet passes. This build, if you're elite at it, will get you in the pool. No team will pass up on someone who can rebound, shoot, and start the break. This is the safest build at the position to make the league, but also can be the hardest to be elite at. You really need to be good on this build to stand out. So the next build, here comes the defense. The two-way stretch 4. This build, in my opinion, should never be used over the rebounding sharp. Cleaning the glass is far better statistically than being a rim protector in a 2K where paint offense is horrendous. You can play well enough defense with the rebounder, so use it as a chance to secure rebounds over making sure they might hit 10% less shots. This build is great at guarding ball handlers at the 3, but it's just not needed in the Combine where you'll be guarding power forwards. The shooting badges on this will be the highest because of the two-way putting up the corner specialist, but it's not worth the trade-off of being able to clean the glass. Use this build if you are naturally a great elite rebounder and feel you can grab rebounds regardless. Otherwise, I would just suggest the rebounding stretch. The final build is the one in a vacuum I believe is the best build at this position. It easily, and I mean it, is the most oppressive build to deal with in the Combine, especially from power forward. The reason why I rank it so low is it is terrible in the Combine environment. Very few point guards will be giving it to you in the post. If they do, everyone sags in and try to rip you. In an organized team environment, this build could be like a star-defining play style. I could see definitely teams in the league running it, but for what we need to do in the Combine, going with randoms and not having a team environment around you, I would completely avoid this build. It has no three-pointer, it can't attack the rim, and is best from a mid-range, and likely takeover will not be in the Combine. I would avoid this build at all costs. That should wrap up the power forward builds. Like and subscribe for more great 2K content as I break down other builds and positions to help you up your 2K game.